Taipei Metro Toastmaster Club. Her super idol is Neil Stovichek. Because she thinks, even though he is so busy, he can always pay lots of attention to all of our members. He remembers the member. And she cannot argue with Neil because she cannot compare her ideas compared to Neil. Neil is so persuasive. And I think this general evaluator is also one of my super idol from Toastmaster Club. So ladies and gentlemen, please show our warmest welcome to Ivy.
Thank you. Talking about super idol, who wakes up at 10 a.m. in the morning and join CHB Toastmaster is a super idol for me. So yes, I admire everybody's courage to wake up yourself in the early morning and prepare yourself to join this English training. I have to say it's so difficult because I asked my niece, so how was your sleep last night? And my niece says, 我不知道，我没有办法回答. I said, is this because that you woke up too early and you have to think in English? Yes, she probably said yes. So I have to say, being a super idol is not easy. And why I choose Neil Stovichek is because I've been working with Neil Stovichek in Toastmaster for 11 years. Can you imagine that? 11 years. So yes, persuasive. I got a lot of influence from Neil Stovichek. I hope in your Toastmaster way, you also can find someone to give a lot of positive feedback to your life and in the future to influence you the most. So now, today, I heard that we have a very special because of Pathways menu. Yes, in Pathways, we encourage everybody to take menus and deliver speech, but the most important is you also need to give someone feedback. So yes, now, today we have 3 individual evaluators, and they all evaluate one person's speech. That poor person is you.
Speaking warrior.
Yes, speaking warrior. Yes. So yes, now I need to welcome our first individual evaluator. That will be Elise. So Elise, let's welcome Elise. And talking about the super idol. Talking about super idol.
My super idol is Miranda Kerr.
Who is that?
A model.
A supermodel.
Yes, a supermodel, but the most things that I admire her because she is not just a supermodel. She opened her own career to create a brand of Cora, her own cosmetic, and also put herself a lot of time in charities. So that's why I admire her. So come to my evaluation for Yulong. Congratulations, Yulong, for completing your second speech. And then I think your speech has a good integrity because your speech starts with good opening and body and conclusions. So I think your speech has a good opening start with asking people questions. What's your definition of the good leaders? And this question I think is highly connected to your topic, how to make your team safe, because that helped me to quickly understand that your topic, what kind of the topic that you want to deliver is the leadership. So from sharing the story of the USA Army to your own story of experience to lead a team, to tell us that how to make your team safe, that's a very good transition, and tell the audience that what the challenges you meet and what action you do, and finally you make it through and make your team safe. And the conclusions, I think your conclusion is very good because you just put your opinion in it, and you tell us what you learned and through the U.S. Army, and you practice in your real life, and to tell the audience that that's the true meaning of how to make your team safe. And here's my humble suggestions that I found that you are a little nervous because I found that you don't have too much suggestions and you just keep working. I don't think it's like a purpose that you want to deliver something to your audience, and your speech path is too flat. I think you can put more emotion in your speech. So all in all, I think your speech is very good, and I want to know more about your story. So and I'm looking forward your potential growth as focus on things like the gestures, pacing, and most importantly, I think your face don't have any changes. So I think you can put more emotion also in your speech and in your face as well. So thank you so much for sharing your speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So our next individual evaluator is our Dawn. Dawn's feedbacks to our meeting theme. Who is my super idol? Dawn says, I admire Ivanka Trump very much. She is a supermodel, and because that she is a businesswoman and fashion designer, not to mention that she is the daughter of Donald Trump, the president of the United States, and also because elegance, beauty, and wonderful husband, handsome husband, and also adorable children. I also want that all. Let's welcome Dawn.
Our main purpose of joining the Toastmaster is to become more effective evaluator, communicator, and leaders. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic you will choose to address is undoubtedly to inspire and encourage us to achieve that goal. I think his speech has a well-organized structure. In the opening, he attracted the audience attention with a strong message. How do good leaders should be? I noticed this is perfectly in line with the rest of his content. Besides, he connected the battlefield soldiers with workplace co-workers to emphasize how sacrifice is the most basic and most important spirit in the extremely different places where exist different crises and dangers. I like this kind of metaphor a lot. The most impressive part in his speech was his persistent character. From his confident eye contact with the audience, I can feel his resolute determination and realize that a positive mindset is important in the workplace. He even served himself a sacrifice model for being a good leader. So overall, I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot from his speech, from Elon's speech. Thanks for sharing your ideas about being a good leader. To offer my humble suggestion for Elon, I would suggest, I noticed that you're fit turned outward, sometimes it reveals you may be nervous. So please stand firmly while delivering your speech. Second, you can add more movement. Because during a speech, movements provide variety for the audience. When you work purposefully from one place to another, it attracts the audience's attention and get them involved as their eyes and heads follow you. Hope this will make your next future speech even better. To conclude my evaluation, I would like to say Yulong is an experienced and talented speaker. Now I would hand my control back to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And our next individual evaluator is our Ellen Gao. Ellen, I haven't got your feedback, but I believe that your super idol, also a basketball player.
Yes.
Yes. It's so hard to know. Thank you.
My super idol is LeBron James because he joined our team, Lakers. Yes. And, okay, hey Yulong. Thank you for sharing your story. That is a great and useful speech for us. In this moment, I have one word to say. It's awesome. In your speech, what is confidence? You mentioned confidence. My confidence is not unbeatable. Confidence is when you face a challenge, you will still fight and rise again. In your speech, I saw your confidence in your story. When you face a problem, you use your passionate energy and faith to solve the problem. That is, I want to see. And I always believe sacrifice is the key about success. In your speech, you say you went to the office early and leave the office late. I think this is a great thing because you use your personal strength to encourage your team member, and you think, wow, we are a team. We are a truly team, not just for work. And that is what I need and I want. To my humble suggestion is that you mentioned about the movies. I think it's a American Army's movie. I guess it's Saving Private Ryan. Chinese name is 抢救雷恩大兵. I think you can mention the movie's name because it's very cool. And hey, remember the last skin, the Tom Hanks. His leg is injured and he lay out in the land. But he still fight. He used his handgun, shoot with the terrible German tanks. And finally, the team member is still injured. But the good news is American Air Force sent their plane to crash the Germany's tank, and we have a good ending. So I think maybe you can join the story. It's just for fun, maybe. And I think in the future, no, not in the future. Now you are a super idol in our CHB club. Thanks.
Thank you. So, those are our future super idol as an individual evaluator. Now, here's the serious part for our individual evaluator. Our first one is David. For David's feedback to the meeting themes. David says, my idol for the meeting theme is John Cena.
Excuse me, we have two Davids.
Oh, right. The first one.
Sorry.
We have two Davids. So the first one is David Ma.
Yes.
So David Ma, yes. David, I think I haven't received your feedback, so maybe you can share with us who is your super idol and why. So let's welcome David. Thank you.
my super idol, I think, is Lin Su Hao, Jeremy Lin. Why? Just a couple days ago, there's a news because recently Jeremy plays very well and he is going to find a new home. And he said, just control what you can control. I think this sentence impressed me a lot because that makes me don't feel worries about my future because we just do whatever I can do. Well, yeah, that's it. I'm talking about my task today, Elise. Just like I suppose you can deliver your performance is awesome. It's Elise style. The whole performance very fluent. First, you talk about your good observation. You use the going through. This is your way to demonstrate the good parts, and then you give us your 2 suggestions for further improvement. As well, you use a very good conclusion as your ending. If I can give you some suggestion about your evaluation, I think first, if you can just point out, for example, you use another way, not just going through all the speech, because we are audience, we know the speakers deliver. So just point out the good parts, like good opening, and you use 2 to 3 sentences to describe why you think it's good opening. Also the good personal story, tell me what's you're impressed, because audience maybe think the same as you think. And finally, you use the conclusion, you use some feedback like gestures, and also you said the delivery a little bit too late, but you didn't tell Yulong how to do the improvement. If I were you, maybe I will say something good part to action for Yulong. Like you may suggest that Yulong use some pause. Like when Yulong asking question, just give maybe 1 second pause, awaiting the audience feedback. And also use gestures like as a leadership, maybe use some warrior gesture just during the speech. It will make the speech more vivid to the audience, and also the audience can feel like what is the content words, what is the turning points. Yeah, maybe Yulong has other very good turning points, maybe not just the American Army story, maybe there are also some others. Just try to use your, just use other gestures or content wording to enlarge the good parts and something to be improved. Yeah, that's my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next individual evaluator is Carrie from EYT Toastmaster. And Carrie says her feedback to the meeting thing is, her super idol is Lin Yichen, a famous Taiwan female actor. She is very elegant and perform well in the dramas, and she never talks back opinions on the screen. So I think we all know Lin Yichen very well. Very positive image to everybody. So let's welcome Carrie.
Thank you, Session Master. As an individual evaluator, I think today Dawn plays a very good job. She shows the content what an individual evaluator should have. So let me point out some of the good advantages she used. First of all, she used a very good quote for her opening. Makes her opinions, make her thoughts different from other evaluators and attract people's attention. Second, she used the eye contact not only to the speaker himself and to other audience. And third, she points out the part she impressive from the speaker and tell what the speaker did well during his speech. And also in the back, she offered her personal thoughts, her suggestions for the speaker doing her better performance in the future. So I can tell that Dawn is very confident on the stage, stand firm, and the voice is confident and stable. However, as I have to give some thoughts for her for improvement, I would like to challenge is that when we want to give people suggestions, personally, I seldom use suggestions because people can hear that, can take that, or do not take that. So I would use the word for challenge. I would challenge the people, you can do better in the future if you do this, this, and that. And I want to challenge Dawn is you can use different of your vocal variety. Like your quote for your opening, it is very different. I think it is very powerful. And your voice is just like the same from the beginning to the end. So I could think that you could stretch out, maybe use some strong voice for your quote. That would be more powerful. And for we're giving evaluation for people, we're smile. That's very nice. But I would also challenge that don't use the nice voice forever, because we want to make our speakers know where he really needs an improvement. So this is I would like to challenge. But I would also like to share an idea all the evaluators you can use for the structure. You can tell the people structure for your evaluation, opening, body, and conclusion. Not just use the sandwich, like you did good improvement and you did good in the conclusion. To make people remember what you really point out, not just tell people's advantage. We want improvement. Session master.
So finally, it's another David Chen. So David Chen, his feedback to the meeting scene is his super idol is John Cena, one of the superstars of WWE, the World Wrestling Entertainment. Since he always using the sentence, never give up, to inspire all his fans. So I guess that's a key reason, right? So even if some of them need to fight with some disease or disability, and the most of his fans create a brand new life. So let's welcome David.
Thank you, Abby. Wow, it's really a tough job to be the double E. Evaluation for individual evaluation. Today, I need to share my appreciation to our handsome guy Aaron's individual evaluation. Why do I say that? I love his evaluation for two parts. The first part is he totally emphasized the spirit of Toastmasters to have a really positive learning experience, to encourage the members to deliver more and more speeches in the future. He used one word to share his appreciation to Yulong's speech. What's that? Awesome. Yes, this awesome not only encourage Yulong to do more and more speeches, but also you catch the audience's attention to focus totally on your evaluation. That's the first part. I really love your evaluation. And the second part, he also shared one point I may ignore. That's the name of the movie. So I need to also share another appreciation to our Aaron's evaluation because you point something I never noticed in Yulong's speech. So from these two parts, I really love Aaron's evaluation. And if I need to share some personal suggestions you may work on in the future, I'd like to divide it into 3 parts. The first part is your suggestion of the content part, because in my opinion, Yulong's speech is kind of informative speech. So maybe next time you can share some suggestions that you can suggest Yulong to ask another question in his conclusion part, so that he can surely keep the audience attention attentions to get some information from him. That's the first suggestion. And second suggestion, I think you can try to say something. You can try to have some vocal variety. What's that? Add more process to not only help you release your stress, but also to let the audience think about your evaluation. And the last but not least is the conclusion part, because in individual evaluation, you need each kind of mini speech. So maybe next time you can try to add a conclusion to review your appreciation and your suggestion parts, so that not only the speakers can review your evaluation, but also the audience will think about how they can do in the future. So overall, I really love your speech, your individual evaluation, because you share your total experience of Toastmasters and also encourage our Yulongs to do more and more speech in the future, and also point something of that I never noticed. Maybe next time you can try to share some suggestion of the content parts and more process. And the last but not least, to add the conclusion of your evaluation. I think your evaluation will be better and better in the future. I look forward to your evaluation in the future. General Graduate.
Thank you so much. Then, now, it's our language evaluations.